Welcome back. We are at halftime, second round of the playoffs, West Branch at Dyersville-Beckman, and we decided to get a little season-ending recap with the fresh Soph team and head coach Luke Posivio joining us a little bit. Coach, we talked to you about halfway through the year and kind of seeing how things were going. Take us through how the rest of that season went and kind of how things finished out for this squad.
The end of the year, it was productive. I think there were a lot of learning gaps that we got to fill in early in the season. Obviously seeing success, playing well. There's not as many mistakes that you find on film, but then towards the end of the season we started taking some lumps from some different teams, and unfortunately the boys got to experience that, and so our film sessions got a little bit more in depth, talking about things we need to improve. But overall, the effort was still there. Kids were still playing hard, I thought. We faced some adversity, so the kids got exposed to that. So hopefully that carries them through their varsity career, and we can continue to build with that. So,
well, maybe take that just a little bit further. Obviously that's one of the key things is learning how to deal with that adversity. And how did those guys respond? Did they seem pretty receptive and able to try to improve upon some things from that point moving forward?
For the most part, yes, they were pretty receptive to that. But overall, there was a couple games where I really had to get on them to get something out of them, and it's one of those things. That was one of our talking points. I said, to be successful at anything athletic, actually be successful at anything, you have to be able to manufacture your own energy. You can't, have someone always there to pump you up, to get you to play hard, to do this. And that was a lot of learning there as well. So a couple of those times it kind of seemed like, maybe we laid down, maybe we just felt we didn't have it in us. But at the same time, I said, I don't, care if we're winning, we're losing, but I said there's no quit. Like, you should never quit, whatever it is. So we had some challenges with that, but like I said, it's that facing that adversity earlier in their athletic careers here, being able to learn from that and be exposed to that type of playing and all that is going to help them in the long run. So
I know following along, obviously I'm here so much, I don't have a chance to maybe make it out here on a Monday night to see you guys as much, but seeing some of those lumps, it was a little hard. But talk about just kind of how you as coaches were continuing to work with them and seeing what it is that they needed to do to be able to maybe learn some of those things and manufacture that just a little bit further.
I think the biggest thing for us is that we really wanted to focus on was I always told the kids, they're not beating us, we're beating ourselves. Phrasing it that way really helps their mindset. Like, yes, we're capable of doing this, so how can we come back from this and learn from this? And showing them that on film and just asking those basic questions. What are you supposed to do on this play here? What are you supposed to do when you break through the line of scrimmage and get to heel line? Are you supposed to sprint 50 yards downfield, or are you supposed to break down and make a play down the line? And once they see that and they're like, oh yeah, that play we messed up because I messed up. It wasn't because of what the opponent did, it was what we didn't do. And keeping that terminology with them to realize, like, you're not getting beat, you're beating yourselves. And I said, when you play perfect, which never happens, but when you play good enough, you're going to win. And I said, a team's not going to beat you if you play your best game. So you got to bring your best game to the table, and not allow those other teams to take games away from you. So.
What about on Friday nights? I know some of your guys have been mixed in a little bit on some of the special teams and whatnot. Are you seeing some things from them there that you really like and can kind of show to some of their teammates on those fresh soft practices?
We always talked about how close they are to playing on Friday nights. It's so different when you're saying, oh, we're fresh soft for JV, and then varsity plays on Friday nights, and we're playing on Monday nights. But what they don't realize is that we're 1-2 plays away from, hey, you got to go out there and play. You got to be ready to go, especially at a small school like West Branch. Everybody has to be ready to go at a moment's notice. So them kind of seeing that kind of puts it into perspective for them. Like, oh, we see our teammate out here playing on special teams or getting reps on 3rd and 4th down or getting reps, late in the second quarter when somebody needs a blow. They're kind of saying, okay, we are this close. And when they see, obviously, when their teammates have success, that's going to help as well to kind of build that confidence. So.
Well, it's always about learning and continuing to grow as players. It's not always the wins and losses. I know that's hard because that makes it a lot more fun, but these guys have been staying pretty resilient throughout the year. So it's been exciting to see that. I know you put together a highlight film. So if people want to look, we've got that posted out at the West Branch site, all the social media. But that was pretty fun to kind of go back and see some of the fun things that happened over the year.
You know, it was one of those things that I am not technologically savvy at all. You know, I was texting Matt just about every other day asking how to operate iMovie, and a bunch of 7th and 8th graders at the middle school are like, iMovie? What do you, like, that's so novice. How are you not figuring out how that works? I'm not a tech guy at all. So throughout the season, you know, I'd put our highlights, I'd download them, put them into the iMovie. So I never really saw the complete thing until I sent it to Matt and we, you know, posted it out there, and that was kind of cool to reminisce. And I think that'll be good for the kids to see too. Like, there's a lot of good plays in there, and they just got to be able to see, like, we can do this. You can just see, you know, those flashes of brilliance that I always talked about. Like, you guys are going to be good football players. These plays that you see here, we just got to do that every single down, and they're going to be really successful. So, yeah, it was fun putting that together, and, you know, like I said, seeing the kids, you know, playing well. Obviously, highlight films make you feel like you're the best JV football team in the country. But yeah, that was fun to put that together and, you know, kind of see, yeah, you know, these kids, they are going to be good ball players down the road. So
speaking of continually improving, we've got our popcorn rubric that you guys were working on, and we'll have to see if we can get an update from you with Beckman since we're recording this earlier in the week. But give us a take. What did you see throughout the season in terms of the popcorn across the eastern part of the state?
Let me tell you. So I grade popcorn on 4 different categories, all worth 2.5 points, which puts us at about a 10-point scale. So pretty easy to grade overall. We have the overall experience. So I'm talking the amount the bag is filled, you know, the visual appealing, the size of the bag. We have that. We have saltiness and butteriness. Obviously, we have, you know, ratio of yellow to white popcorn pieces, how salty it is. You know, we don't want it too salty, so there's what I call a parabola of salt. And then we also have the ending, which I like, is like the kernely pieces. Like, there's nothing that drives me bonkers more than getting kernels stuck in my teeth, especially when you don't have like Milk Duds or Mike and Ike's to eat afterwards to take it out. So that's also put in there as well. And let me tell you, I think the most disappointing score this year was a 5.2 on that scale. It wasn't a bag that I was happy to be eating, but I wasn't super upset that I had popcorn either, because whoever is.
Well, yeah.
But then I have to tell you, Iowa City Regina's got their stuff together in the popcorn department. I think I graded that one at like an 8.2.
Wow.
It was pretty phenomenal. They had the bucket. It was mounted at the top. It was relatively cheap. And that was definitely the best popcorn of the season so far. We still have, you know, Beckman and any potential games after that yet to grade out as well. So.
All right. Well, next time that you guys go to the concession stand, just think of the parabola of salt and Milk Duds to get the popcorn kernels out of your teeth, and you'll be set because Mr. Posivio knows what's going on. So.
Revolutionary, I'm telling you.
Luke, thanks very much for your work with the Fresh Soph guys and joining us here again this season and giving us a kind of rundown of how things went for you guys this year.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
We are at the half. We'll be back with more West Branch at Dyersville Beckman. You're listening to the Bearcast at westbranch.football.